Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. As you can see, there's a different setup now. This is my podcast. I guess it's called In the Moment with Aliyah, and we speak about all different types of topics: fitness, faith, fashion, anything. I have so many amazing guests that I have planned to have on this podcast, and so many amazing topics that I want to bring to you guys. So I'm super excited, and I just thought it was time to level up. It is 2025, so it is time to have new everything, new vibes, new hair, but honestly, to be honest, let's keep it real. In the Moment is a space that I wanted to create for authentic conversations, and if we're going to be real, let's be real today. I want to be so real today. I do not want to be here. I wish I was in my bed right now. I had an awful week and I want to speak about it because even up until this podcast, I actually was meant to have a guest on today, but it didn't go that way. And that was just a cherry on top of my week. And that's just something I did not need. But I think there's a lesson in that. And I want to speak a bit about faith, right? I said we're going to speak about faith. I think faith works even more beautifully when things don't go right. So this week is terrible. Everyone has annoyed me to the point, like every corner of my life has been attacked, literally. So I feel awful. I didn't have anything prepared today. I didn't have anything that I wanted to speak about. I didn't even want to be here today. I honestly just shown up just because I know how I am. I'm just not going to let a podcast slot rot away. And I feel like God has given me a voice, so I'll definitely use it. So I just take today as I'm meant to speak about something, and hopefully it's meant to touch someone. So let's just get into it. Like I said, I had a very rubbish week, but honestly and truly, when you feel those moments where you don't feel like you're hearing from God, or you're hearing from God, or you're seeing God, or you're just in the midst of chaos, that is the time that you surrender, and that's the time that you actually go to him and you speak to him. I mean, you should be doing that all the time, but really and truly, when you don't feel like it, especially in that time, you have to. And I was left in a predicament this week when I had no other option but to do that. And I feel like something amazing is going to happen in 2025 because just the way that December has treated me is not great. I mean, I had a fantastic year. I was just speaking to people from my church at the Connect group about how much I traveled this year, the amazing blessings that I had in 2024, the amazing people that I came across. Got baptized in 2024. So many things I'm going to be speaking about soon on the podcast that happened in 2024. It was just such an amazing year. So the fact that I ended it with a terrible week month, I'm just not going to let that bring me down. And honestly and truly, the reason that's happened is because of this book. So you can't really have faith if you don't know who you have faith about. Do you know what I'm talking about? So I read the Bible in a year and I finished in November. I actually read it in 8 months. Yeah. Aliyah, do your maths properly. I read it in 11 months. And it honestly changed my life. I just want to tell you a little bit about my testimony. You might know about my testimony, you might not, but I just want to speak a bit about it. Exactly 10 years ago, I was on a journey to find God. I didn't know what that looked like. I just didn't have any introduction to what faith to go into or anything like that. It was just solely me and my thoughts and how I felt and where I was at in that time. I was 18 years old. I was looking for the truth. Everything was going right. In fact, it's not even like I was going through so much and I just needed God. Like everything was actually going great, but I still felt spiritually dead. So I decided to take that mission to actually find God and find the truth. The reason why it took 10 years to get to this point is because I stumbled across a different faith. At that stage of my life, soon after I made that intention to find God, I had found my college sweetheart and I married him and everything was great. And he was from an Islamic background. And I found that so inspiring because I just loved everything about Islam. I loved the oneness of God that they had. I loved the the routine. I really fell in love with the religion, and I'm the type of person that loves law. I love that, okay, we have to pray 5 times a day. We do this in Ramadan. I learned a lot, and I really fell in love with Islam, and I was part of that faith for 5 years. And it just didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to work out, because I saw how that relationship with God impacted my partner, and I wanted that. And I just didn't get those results. Did the same things, I just didn't get that spiritual connection. So I had left the faith, and I kind of left it in 2022, but not really. Like after like getting divorced, not really leaving it, in and out, kind of basically lost, you know, trying to find myself, because he was like the spiritual leader in the family, and I believe in that, like the man being the head of the house and everything. So obviously I didn't have that guidance anymore, so I literally was left alone with God, and I tried my best with Islam, to the point where I even moved to Dubai to get closer to Allah, and I found Jesus. And if you really want to get to know that testimony, I have a whole video talking in depth about that. But I'll go on and on about it, because I just feel like so much has happened. But yes, I come to Dubai, I find Jesus, I get baptized, and the first thing he tells me to do, the first thing he tells me to do is read the Bible. And he told me that through a dream. I'm not really a dreamer, so he gave me dreams as soon as I surrendered in a prayer in August of 2023. And I just had dreams back to back, and one of the main things he told me to do is read the book. So I made that intention for 2024 is to finish the Bible, and there are just so many great things that I've discovered, and it has taught me real faith. I didn't have faith before. I was confident, but I was confident within myself, and depending on yourself, it doesn't last long, because when you do something wrong, it's a lot to carry. It's a lot to be your own God. It's a lot to deal with all the things that life can put in your face. I dealt with divorce. I dealt with losing 2 babies. I dealt with losing friends, family members, everything. It's a lot to deal with by yourself. And I'm just so glad that there is something bigger than me and greater than me that I can go to all the time. So that's where this book came in. And honestly, it's so funny, because I am the type of person where I spend a lot of time reading self-development books, and self-development books are great. The motivational books are great. Have fear and do it anyway. Like, I was that type of person. That's the type of content that I made for a very long time, and I thought I was doing my best, being a great example of being an influencer, I guess. But it's so funny, as I read the Bible this year, I realized that a lot of it was taken from the Bible. A lot of the beliefs and the things that they teach you when it comes to motivation definitely comes from the Bible. There's definitely a bigger inspiration. So I was like, whoa, this is like the best motivational book ever. It's full of history. It's full of so many beautiful stories. There's so many miracles. And the greatest thing about this all is that it's real. So yeah, I had a really great time reading this book. And because of this book, I'm able to have weeks like this where I don't feel great, but I know that God is working. I might not be hearing him, but I know that he's working behind closed doors. And that is what the Bible has done for me. So it was very important for me to get to know who God is. And he's a faithful God. He is a merciful God. He's so gracious. He's so gracious. And he has done so much for me, even before I found him. This week, I needed faith. When you don't feel like things are going right, you still have to praise him. You still have to have time and sit down and just let God take away all your burdens, because we might not understand what's going on right now, but it doesn't mean that he stopped working. The Lord is always working. And if you just pick up this book, if you just pick up the Bible and get to know him, you know the type of God that he is. He would never leave you in chaos, and he would never give you a challenge that you cannot handle. So those reminders that I had this week has been so encouraging, even though I didn't believe it for a moment. Like, I know the Bible, I've read the Bible, and now studying it again. I finished the Bible and I'm studying it again, because I just want to make sure that I have those beliefs drilled within me. And there's going to be times where you're going to get tested. I mean, I had a great year, and the fact that it ended that way was really a test. It was really like being in the Job season, right? Faith is something so important because you can't do this life alone. The God I know, he's so merciful and he's so faithful, and there's just so much knowledge in this book that's helped me understand who he is and helped me understand how to act. I've changed from the inside out. A lot of people have asked me so many different questions regarding the Bible, so I kind of want to get into it and speak about why I think it's so important to study the Bible. I do want to say though, I didn't actually study the Bible for the year. I kind of read it. So I was telling my friend this the other day that studying and reading are two different things. And I read the Bible in a year, but now I'm studying it. So I'm actually taking my time studying something. You take your time, like when you're in school and you do exams and you highlight stuff and you go back and you read it and you practice it. That's where I'm at now with the Bible. But I just want to speak about answer some of the questions that you guys have given me regarding the Bible, because guess what? Also today, I'm late today. So I didn't have time to do the whole podcast that I wanted to do. And that's just another thing. But guess what? I'm going to show up. And whilst I was saying I used to be part of the self-motivation sort of influencer, content creator, I don't really believe in things like that, like have fear and do it anyway. No. I had feelings this week, and this is something I learned from the Bible. I had feelings this week that weren't of mine. And one of the main things that I learned in the Bible was that all the negative things that you feel don't even come from God. Fear doesn't come from him. What do you mean have fear and do it anyway? That doesn't even come from him. Why should I keep something that's not even mine? Why should I keep something that doesn't even belong to me? So no, I'm not going to have fear and do it anyway. I'm going to have faith and do it anyway. That's the type of place that I'm at in now. Don't have fear and do it anyway. Have faith and do it anyway. What's fear? Fear comes from the devil. Faith comes from God. Love. He gives us power, love, and a sound mind. That is the God that I worship. So don't have fear and do it anyway, because that doesn't even come from the Lord. What do you mean have fear? Let go of that. Surrender that to the Lord. Pray it away. Speak it away. The tongue is so powerful. What you say, what you pray over your life, what you speak over your life will manifest into the real realm. Things are happening spiritually. We live in a spiritual world, and the things that you see in front of you aren't even the full story, right? It's the tip of the iceberg. And that's what I've learned in the Bible. So like even me, I've had everyone this week has annoyed me. Every single person has annoyed me this week. And I serve a God that tells me to forgive them. Forgive the guests that you met up with, that you DM'd and they confirmed, that you met up with and they confirmed, that you sent the questions and they confirmed, that you had everything planned and they confirmed and they let you down in the last minute. Forgive that person. That's the type of God that I serve. I don't want to. I'm angry, Lord. What do you mean? I serve a God that basically tells me to forgive people that have let me down and to remember the things that he offers and the things that he gives. So all the feelings that I felt this week, all the feelings that I felt this month aren't even from him. So obviously I'm being attacked, and obviously that means I have to sit down and listen to what the Lord is saying, because clearly something or someone or a spirit is drifting me a different way. So whenever you're in a predicament where you feel like everything is going wrong, quiet the mind. Spend a moment with the Lord. Sit down, hear what he has to say. That's why the way that you start your day and you end your day is very important. I like to look at my day like a sandwich. How do you start it? You should start it by being grateful, right? Praising, praying, having a moment with the Lord, speaking about the things that are on your mind that you feel like you're carrying, and surrendering it to him and letting him take over the day. And how are you ending your day? You might have started the day great, but then something has happened in between where it's now chaotic and it's not really a great day. Give that to the Lord. Pray about it. Speak about it. End it not on your phone. What's this? This is, why do we worship? Why do we wake up and we put our phones on? Why do we worship our phones? I don't understand. It's a problem I have too. I'm not speaking at you guys. I'm speaking to myself too. But how you end your day as well is very important. Go back to the Lord. Speak to him. Tell him what's going on. He's your friend. He's your father. He's your judge. He's your everything. So I'm so glad that I've been able to do that. And this year, I kind of want to encourage everyone to pick up this book, but I don't have much time left. I just want to speak about the questions that you guys have given me regarding the Bible, and we'll get into that. and I'll tell you why you should read it. So one person says, which testament did you enjoy the most? I actually enjoyed the Old Testament a lot, and everything, Proverbs, Job, Genesis, Exodus. The story of Moses is like one of my favorite stories. I love the Old Testament a lot, but I love the New Testament as well. I'm not, I know Jesus came and everything. That was great. But the Old Testament, there's just so many gems in there, and I feel like it's underrated. So that is one thing that I enjoyed. Somebody said, how did you manage to read it in a year? How do you typically read? Do you take notes, etc., etc.? So I actually had a Bible plan. I had a Bible that had a Bible plan, and I also joined one on the YouVersion app. So you can do so many different Bible plans. I even joined a Bible school of recent, and you can actually finish the Bible in 30 days. Literally, you can finish it in 3 months. You didn't have to take it. You didn't have to take a year, but because I was starting out, I wanted to take everything very slowly. So I read a couple chapters a day. And yeah, there's 66 books in the Bible, so it's quite a lot. But yeah, I had a plan. So I followed something in my actual Bible. I read it from the traditional version. I said that before on one of my platforms, and some of you guys were confused as to what the traditional version is. But it's just basically any Bible that you get, it will be from Genesis to Revelations. So that's like the traditional way, whereas there's other Bible plans where it starts with the New Testament and you start in Luke or Matthew or whatever, and then you go back to the Old Testament. So I did it the traditional way, from cover to cover, from Genesis to Revelations, and it was so good. Somebody even asked what my favorite book is. Honestly, I don't have one, but I would like to say the story of Moses. So Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, like everything to do with Moses was really, really great. Of course, I loved the story of Jesus too, but I just feel like the story of Moses is so powerful in so many different ways. But you guys, I wish I had more time to speak about everything, but I just thought I would use this time to just speak to someone. I don't know who this video is for, but I believe that I'm meant to use my voice. I know that Lord has given me a voice. And when I was having a really bad day, I went to this night beach in Dubai. They have a night beach, you guys. Dubai, you can find anything here. Honestly, this is why I love it. And I'm so excited to show you guys the amazing people that I've come across in Dubai. So I was out at the beach late at night. I was like there at 1 a.m. and I left the Bible open. I said, Lord, do your thing. Tell me what page to read. And he left it bang on in Psalms, right? And I read chapter 86, and it's a prayer of David. It says, bend down, O Lord, and hear my prayer. Answer me, for I need your help. Protect me, for I'm devoted to you. Save me, for I serve you and trust you are my God. Be merciful to me, O God, for I am calling on you constantly. Give me happiness, O Lord, for I give myself to you. O Lord, you are so good, so ready to forgive, so full of unfailing love for all who ask for your help. Listen closely to my prayer, O Lord. Hear my urgent cry. I will call to you whenever I'm in trouble, and you will answer me. No pagan God is like you, O Lord. None can do what you do. All the nations you made will come and bow before you, Lord, for they will praise your holy name, for you are great and perform wonderful deeds. You alone are God. There's so much more in that prayer, but that just made me feel better. And I'm so glad I'm in a space in my life where I just go to the Lord directly. And even though I might not feel great in that moment, I know that he's working. Even though I might not hear him, I know that he's working, and I choose to trust him. So whoever this is for, trust in him. And I'm live and direct. I have no idea what's going to happen in 2025. You make plans and God will laugh at you. But if you just open up the book and you get to know him, you will have so many answers. There's so much more that I wanted to say today, but I feel like this is enough, and I know it's for someone. So if you have a moment, open the Bible more. It can be one chapter a day, one verse a day, but just get to know your Lord. Because if you know the things that he can do with you, like when you think about it, it takes over all the burdens that you carry. And I know easier said than done, but when I tell you, I have testimonies upon testimonies. We'll speak about it on the show, so don't even worry about it. But if you just get to know the Lord and you figure out who he is, trust and believe me, everything else doesn't matter. And you'll read that in Ecclesiastes, one of the richest men in the world. He tells you at the end of the day, nothing really matters other than your relationship with God. So I encourage you to pick up the Bible. If you are a Christian and maybe you've lost faith, or you've been hurt by the church, or even if you're just curious, where I was 10 years ago, give it a try. I didn't have anyone that introduced me to the Bible, so I didn't seek Christianity first. It was actually at the bottom of my list, but I'm kind of glad that it happened this way. And I'm kind of glad I had experiences with other religions and whatnot. And I've come to find Christ, and I've seen how he's been there for me from the beginning, the very beginning. So we serve a God that has given each person on this earth a different fingerprint. Do you know how intentional you have to be to have millions of babies that are born every day for our Creator to give us a different fingerprint? He's very intentional. So that's the type of Lord that we serve. He knows the hairs on our head. And if you just give him a chance, he will show you so much more. I'm not saying this book alone healed me overnight, but it definitely pushed me in the right direction. And it's helped me remember what to do when chaos happens, to praise him, to take a moment and just talk to him, to give my burdens to him, and to not carry it alone. To not go to friends and family and just rely on them. There's something bigger than us that is taking care of everything, even when it doesn't look like it or feel like it. So that's my encouragement to you guys today. Like I told you, I didn't even want to be here today. I honestly said, forget the podcast. I don't want to do this, honestly and truly, but I showed up anyway, and I know it's for a reason. I hate that my first episode started out like this, but you know what? I believe in the Lord, and I know he's going to make it right. It is for someone. So get used to this setup, you lot. Get used to it. I have amazing guests that are coming on. Thank you so much for tuning in to the In the Moment with Aliyah. And I will see you next week, Sunday. Bye-bye.